Honourable members, I have to inform the Parliament that the Speaker had, in accordance with Section 110 of the Constitution, certified the Fire and Rescue Service Act 2025 and the Local Level Government Administration Act 2025 that were made by the National Parliament. Notices, petitions, notices. Honourable members, question time. The Honourable Deputy Opposition Leader.
Deputy Speaker, my question without notice goes to the Honourable Prime Minister. Deputy Speaker, it has been 6 years since the Honourable Prime Minister became the Prime Minister of the independent state of Papua New Guinea. And over the weekend, he provided a very glossy presentation of all his achievements in the last 6 years. My question, with the level of sensitivity that the Prime Minister has applied to development throughout the country, is how have the people of Papua New Guinea benefited the per capita income from 2019 to 2025 under his tenure? And secondly, Mr. Deputy Speaker, under his watch, as the father of the nation, how many jobs has the Marape government created for the people of Papua New Guinea? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, we thank you, Lord. Member Blosuabe, ask him this very important question, two-part question. It's an important question nonetheless. I would, through you, Deputy Speaker, ask if the report I present to Parliament later this week on our 6 year of being in office will cover all these aspects, and I will take time to answer to this House and to the country on the issues that was raised this morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Kokopo.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Thank you, Ken Long. Luksabe Long, all people of Kokopo. My question without notice, but before I ask the question to our good Minister for Civil Aviation, let me, on behalf of my people of Kokopo, congratulate you again from Mining Minister to Civil Aviation. Question from me, Minister Blong, State Enterprise, take note. My question is regarding Tokwa, but before me ask him question, Acting Speaker, I may like to call him. Kokopo, East New Britain was declared as a tourism hub. Under my leadership when I was the former governor. Today, we've got cancellation of flights, and it's affecting the people of New Guinea Highlands region. New Island, Bougainville, Manus, West New Britain. My question to the good minister is this. It's almost here, and I know, and I thank the Malaperoso government again because of my question without notice. And today, we can learn the Fokker 100 according to the repair of the runway, changing from chips material into an asphalt ceiling. My question is to the good minister. When is the funds going to be released for the extension of Tokwa Airport so that we can land the 737, and in order for that, as a tourism hub, we can receive direct flights from Karita, from Japan or China or any other countries throughout the world. So can you also, my good people of East New Britain, and particularly Kokopo District and the entire New Guinea Highlands region, my good Assistant Speaker or Acting Speaker, cancellations of flight, and we cannot give an excuse again because of the runway. Security, yes, we accept the fact that we are facing problem under the law and order issue. Kokopo, we play work addressing law and order, and throughout the country. And that is our core responsibility within the members and the people in the community. But the extension of the airport, as we are going again towards the celebration of the 50th Golden Jubilee, we cannot tell the people in East New Britain and the entire New Guinea Islands region that we'll have to wait again for another 25 years or 30 years. Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Honourable Minister for Civil Aviation.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, Honourable Leader Blong Kokopo. Miamas Loksim Displa asking Blong you. Yes, Lord presentation, Blong all reports to me. And people like make him hugging. Na Kokopo also, Kokopo also airport where and by ready Loksim 83220, Nupla Balus na 737. The sol walk only plan also member come up long, maybe second quarter long. This player now legally progress and especially Lohagen. I'm only been securing work been done now 40 million long finishing this runway now Larapla work long Hagen airport long Balus by down. Long area belong Tokua, I think survey work and close to by one time, that's all survey work and by start I think next week or finish next week or kind of same. So hopefully by Mibla final chaka is ready long. At least and by helping you me Sambla only crime loss sourcing loan na all a way long help him. So at least people like him also because plenty balus belong in New Guinea by come and only like him by 737 can at least run the plenty airport na kind of sense. So Tupla and Mibla wish long have been ready before September, suppose Aprus and by October or maybe November by ready law Balusi can put down. So at least as far as Miss Away and Mibla finding money long straight in this plan. Again, I think money only secure him, now only try him one him. Kokopo and survey work he finish and by one him. Maybe by looking exact cost now, try him long asking Saika or sourcing some money internally long fixing this plan. And more than priority list, Blomibla, especially NAC. Not fixing this plan before flight cancellations. I'm sorry, me no got control of this plan. Me too been stop Sunday all day Lokoroka, no come down, me no come, Monday all day me stop na. Morning flight to go long, 2 o'clock me come. So some time I mean good plan. Safety, it's all about life, so only make him good, only make him good now. New Guinea got good plan record long safety because one of legally something he come up only put him stop fix him good now. Online blow him around now inside the 113 every day and some blow all VIPs, all politicians, na kind of same only run. So me I'm a mass.
Honourable Minister, we have a point of order.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. My question is just direct. I don't want any, answers regarding safety. Safety, yes, it's paramount. But the main problem here is, NAC awarding contracts to incompetent contractors. You point of order law again. Me talk lo Kokopo. Osena, Minister, thank you. The only thing is, if you find him the sole one funding, in up 3 million, and we can start him all earthworks under the NAC specifications. Designs, whatever we can find money in 10, 15 years time, but for now, we like him to solve by it talk long all so give him good advice long all ministers while managing director of NAC is listening today or whoever engineers. Safety I'm all right, but the answer that I'm looking for is when. You may not talk I think tomorrow, I think I'm not got. I think I'm before before independence I'm I think. Today I'm like him now yet. Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Yeah, still a soul mixing report or some as soon as survey work is finished by Mibla looking at 3 million or 20 million or 40 million. You mean not talk 3 million or one you can call him like you got way long. Fix him or something good, have a long actual cost, and the job can be done satisfactory, you see. Plenty time you may give him more contractor or work or make him work incomplete, you may spend him again, you may spend him again, na kind of sensor. But your priority, also you like him 737, so we will make sure that we find some money after the survey and the rough costings is done. Okay, we'll come back to you.
The Honorable Member for Ijibitari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Lo luksa lo people lo Ijibitari. My question without notice is directed to the Prime Minister. While we move towards our 50th anniversary, appreciating independence, blame me. Na relationship, blame me, one time Australia, you may enhance him. Lord, it's the time. There's some legacy issues, lo colonialism, lo Papua New Guinea, that has not been dealt with. Now, people blame me, lo Papua New Guinea. Up till now, about 3 generations have been asking for some answers as to what happened in the 50s going towards the 60s. About 20 Orokaiwa men were beheaded, hanged publicly at Higaturu government station. And when we received independence, that was an investigation into that never occurred. We forgot about it completely. And so these questions have been continuously asked by my people in Northern Province. And so I thought that I would bring it up on the floor of Parliament to bring it to our good Prime Minister. One, is he aware that there was these issues that occurred a few years before independence in this country? And if it is true, is there a way this government, with the Australian government, can sit down and talk, do an investigation into this particular matter and put it to rest, if it means compensating the families of those people that were publicly hanged at that time, so that it can rest our legacy issues whilst we move forward in this country. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, we'd like to thank you, Member Long Ijibitari, for asking this question. As far as these matters are concerned, nothing has surfaced through our government level for us to interface with Canberra. We do have annual ministerial dialogues and annual leadership dialogue with our counterparts in Australia. I want to ask the good leader representing his people to put in writing issues that he's raised, and we could appropriately deal with it and report back to this Parliament and to himself at an appropriate time. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honorable Governor for West Sepik, Sundown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question without notice goes to the Minister for Finance and the Treasury to take note. As we are approaching the 50th Golden Jubilee, do you have a budget for us to celebrate our 50th Jubilee? We have only 2 months away before we celebrate our 50th Jubilee. And you have already released 2 million to my province and also my districts. I don't think that will be enough to cater for our celebrations. Before we rise up for this session, could you please make the budget available for us so that we can celebrate our 50th Jubilee for this country? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Finance.
Deputy Speaker, good morning to you. Firstly, let me thank the Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable James Marape and Marape Russell government lo appointed me also finance minister. I talk thank you lo government. Question lo Governor Sundown. Sambil record staff mitram lo give him. 2024 budget blaming. You may appropriate him 50 million. Lo for the 50th golden anniversary blaming. Lo this 50 million. You may warrant him 20 million pennies. You may got Narbla 20 million. You got releasing pennies. Lo celebrations lo you may lo 2000 lo September 16. 30 million is not outstanding yet. Now Narbla question blame. I'm asking on suppose national government by assisting or provincial government want more districts. Plenty of leaders too. Oleko asking this same question. Now I'm good luck question through Governor Blaney asking. So you can talk about this parliament. Lo government maybe give him instruction finish lo financial instructions. Secretary give him out. Lo all districts through their DSIP only can allocate him some money. But government is aware that them big event, country need him, country all got a man inside of this country, only like celebrating this important occasion, Blayumilo, 50th anniversary Blayumilo, September 16. So, me papa talk one time Prime Minister and government na, you can look suppose you can assist him, all districts and provinces. Lo finding way where you can allocate him some funds, but lo this allocation lo this year you may appropriate him 50 million tasona. At the moment, people go by the 50 million appropriation where 20 million he go out finish na 30 million is not unwarranted yet. Thank you.
We have a supplementary. The honourable member for North Fly. What's your supplementary?
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. My supplementary is in relation to the FI, the financial instruction. Sorry, Deputy Speaker, sorry. My supplementary is in relation to the FI. He says financial instructions given by the Department of Finance and Department to individual districts and provinces to expedite the ESIP and, or I should say the SIP funds, $1 million kina each. So the issue and the question I would like to raise to the Minister is, number one, is it legally binding for his department to issue a FI to spend the SIP fund, which is a development fund, on the celebration? Question number one. Number two, the 50 million kina allocated, is it to dispatch to all the districts or to a specific town or cities or whatever is going to happen? He needs to outline the 50 million kina very clearly, where the 50 million kina would go. And the third question is, I for one feel for that, why would we expedite the development fund on the celebration? That doesn't even work at all. And it's not logic. So he needs to come clear again and inform the House whether a supplementary budget will be brought to accommodate the independence fund, because it's not appropriate to dispatch to everyone. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Finance.
Thank you, my good member for North Fly, for the pertinent question and the supplementary question. Number one, your issue on the financial instructions. The Department of Finance, through the Secretary, has issued the financial instructions for the chairman of DDAs and provincial governments to allocate 1 million kina in their budget. Basically, that's the financial instructions given out from the Secretary, making it legal for DSIP funds and PSIP funds to allocate 1 million kina in your appropriations to do that. Number two, your question on the 50 million kina, these are for the national events through the National Events Secretariat for the National Events Council to use for national events for the country. Your number three question, your number three question, I can't really remember what you said, but
Honourable Minister, I can ask the Honourable Member to repeat the question for you, the third question.
Yeah, sure.
The Honourable Member, if you can.
Thank you. Thank you. I think he probably summarized it and said it, but the other way to put it is the appropriation bill, if he's going to bring a supplementary to accommodate, if it is illegally spending out of the Parliament approving the budget, because the 50 million, we've already passed it as a budget, but if we were to accommodate furthermore funding, will he bring a supplementary budget? Is the question I was asking. It's to accommodate extra funding.
Honorable Minister, you can respond.
Thank you, Member for North Fly. Yes, I understand fully your question. Yeah, you're asking if that 50 million kina is for the districts. Like I said earlier, it is for the National Events Council to carry out national events right across the country. But let's work. As districts and provinces, let's find ways to work with the national government. This is a significant event for our country, and we all have a responsibility to come together to unite our country at this crucial time. You may get a boom one time, then you walk one time, and for the appropriations if there is a supplementary budget, then of course that's something that we can, this Parliament will deal with when it arrives at that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
The Honourable Governor for Southern Highlands.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. My series of questions is directed to the Minister for Treasury, Minister for Finance, and Prime Minister can take note. This series of questions, Mr. Acting Speaker, are relating to glitches, so-called glitches in Internal Revenue Commission, IRC, the glitches at the Department of Finance, and recently the glitch at Bank South Pacific. Mr. Acting Speaker, can the Minister through the Department of Treasury assure Parliament whether there has been an investigation conducted to establish the causes of these glitches and inform our people what are real causes of these glitches? Mr. Speaker, that's my first question. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, can the Minister inform the people of Papua New Guinea whether the Department of Treasury, being the most appropriate government agency, conducted any investigation into these glitches? My other question, Mr. Speaker, has the country lost any information or data in relation to tax revenue collections or evasion of tax by big taxpayers? For example, what about the BSP accounts and the withdrawals and deposits that were done as a result of this glitch? What about the public sector payroll and glitch at the Department of Finance? We need to know whether the government has conducted some investigations and the causes of this. And our people need to know this. Finally, Mr. Speaker, is the government prepared for another lot of glitches as and when it strikes again? These are important questions, Mr. Speaker, and the country needs to know. And if the good Treasurer can provide some answers to this series of questions. Thank you.
The Honourable Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to respond to the questions without notice from the Governor for Southern Highlands provinces in relation to the causes of glitches that were experienced by the IRC, and I think he also referred to the Bank of South Pacific. Mr. Speaker, I'll respond to the queries on the IRC or those agencies that I have direct oversight of, and I'll leave it to the appropriate minister to respond to the Bank of South Pacific. In relation to the IRC, as we're all aware, in middle of February this year, the IRC had informed Papua New Guinea of those glitches that took place and clarified the nature of this cyber attack. According to the IRC, this was a ransomware attack on its virtual service. Rogue persons introduced malicious software that locked their service and prevented IRC from accessing their emails and various other software. Upon detecting the breach, IRC activated its cyber security protocols. They also engaged experts from KPMG, a very large international accounting firm, to assist in containing the problem, restoring the system and improving security of its IT system. At this point, I also want to thank the Government of Australia for offering, at no cost to us, their cybercrime rapid response team, but at this time the IRC have not engaged them. Has the Department of Treasury conducted a thorough investigation with these glitches? No, we haven't. We at the Department of Treasury are of the opinion that the IRC and even the Bank of South Pacific, for that matter, have the appropriate capacity, possibly more than ourselves, to deal with these matters. And your last question, what plans do we have to deal with this particular software attacks from happening again? Well, Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, all I can say to this is that we at the Department of Treasury are on standby to assist these particular agencies, IRC, to upgrade their software. Their level of preparation can only be as good as the updated software that they engage with. So we're on standby to assist them if they need that. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Goilala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This question is supposed to be directed to the good Minister for Police, but I rather prefer I direct it to the Honourable Prime Minister. Prime Minister, I stand here, I rise in my people's chair with a heavy heart, and while we approach the eve of 50th Golden Jubilee, I want to give a background before I ask a couple of questions. Acting Speaker, the tribe, the class of people that I represent seems to be a marginalized group and a separated and segregated group of people. This city, Port Moresby, is a home to people from the Central Province and Gulf people. They come conduct business here. While we approach the 50th Golden Jubilee, and as other leaders have spoken on monies to celebrate the Golden Jubilee, we still have the footprints of colonization, but dressed up in a local context, from a PNG context. This particular incident is reference to a few kilometers, if not 1 kilometer away from here, next to Waigani police station. in recent times, we've seen horrific scenes of people massacred and loaded onto trucks, bent in other parts of the country. But some 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks ago, in the heart of Port Moresby, the national capital city, the city of this country, this beautiful country that we all represent here, representing our individual people, it is unprecedented to see under the nose of a police station, Waigani police station, we see an unfortunate scene where 4 Golales killed and burnt alive, and not only Golales, but a Marawaka female, innocent, totally innocent, killed and burnt alive to ashes. We have not seen this before. We say we are independent and going forward, but we are still being colonized in our own context. My line of questions is as follows. Mr. Prime Minister, or Acting Speaker, can you confirm or deny that this country is very safe, or this city, Port Moresby, is safe for our people, and especially Golala people? Mr. Prime Minister, can you also confirm that Golala people are free, and this will never happen to them anymore, in a place they call home? We all come from homes. We all represent our people and we have homes. But this, unfortunately, this city here belongs to Central people from Margarita or Gadaisu to Kiwaru Point, including Golala. Golala not excluded. We come here to conduct business. I'm afraid standing here. I can't represent my people well in their house here. Second question, Prime Minister. Where did the police go at that time? At a material time the incident took place. Have they resigned, or suddenly they woke up that morning and there was mass protest, there was nobody on duty? Third question. All these incidences happening around the country, and including Port Moresby, the Waigani one, that does qualify for a change of leadership in the commissioner and everybody else down the rank and file. Because for too long, we have said, we have gambled with this, we have gambled with our people's life. This third question I ask is very serious. Under the commissioner right now, we have seen a lot of deaths. Our people cannot be protected by law anymore. These are voiceless people, especially Golala people. They are voiceless people. Third question, or fourth question. We have incidences at Warawara, 2 Mile Hill, Baruni Dump, Tete, of the same magnitude. The question is, have the police arrested anybody? And if yes, what are the statistics? For the Waigani incidents, do we have a guarantee? Fifth question, do we have a guarantee that there will be proper investigation and those that are perpetrators and responsible will be accounted or will be responsible and brought to justice? Because history tells us that my people were mistreated at Warawara, 2 Mile Hill, Tete, Baruni Dump recently, at the back of Bomana Jail, Kasia, and now at Waigani. Ending question, Mr. Prime Minister, tell me, where do you think is the safest place I can take my people to? If it's not here, where they come and do business, where is our next place to go? We can't go to Alatau, we can't go to Kelema, we can't not even go to Hagen, Olay. Where do we go from here? Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker, for giving the opportunity to hear the voice of the voiceless on the people in the people's house. at this eve of 50th golden anniversary, which also give us whether we join the celebrations or not. Thank you, Prime Minister. Or take in, Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right. I want to thank the member for Guelala for asking 6 questions. That is very important. And whilst Guelala people may have been the focus of this question, but the question is quite generic, and it applies to the safety of all of us right across this country and also our nation's capital. I want to firstly put from the outset, we'd like a big thank you to most Lord people of Guelala. They were part of the early construct of the city. They were mobilized by the pre-independent administration of manpower and labor that came into Port Moresby City to build this city to what it is today. So to the people of Guelala far and wide, including those who are back up in Waitape, Tapini, Gueri, villages up there, and to those who reside in our nation's capital, I want to say thank you very much for your hand in the way our country has come. And we've seen Guelala people rising up to be top-class geologists, top-class economists. One of them, our sister, sitting as a regional member and governor for Central on the other side. And they become, yourself, member Guelala, you were a good policeman. Rose to the rank of senior inspector, if I'm not wrong, before you decide to pursue this career and this work as a member of parliament. So Guelala is not to be discriminated. We don't have classes of people in our country. All of us, by the grace of God, are a creation of God made equal at the foot of the cross. All of us are equal. There is no better group of people and lesser group of people. And those who offend laws are lawbreakers. There are 2 classifications of people: lawful livers those who live within the laws in our country, and those who break laws in our country. And I want to say to the Guelalas, as much as to the rest of the country, this is your country, this is your city. You should feel safe in your own city, and your conduct likewise must be within the sanctum and dictates of law for all of us. Coming back to your first question, is Guelala safe? Guelala should be safe. Guelalans should be safe in the city and in the country as much as every other citizen. Those who are only unsafe, in my view, should be those who are offenders of laws in our country. Those who are offenders of law in our country, and I want to say that police must not discriminate. Your second question, on the 4 who unfortunately lost their life in the criminal site at Waigani. Police is working. I want to give assurance to the member and to the House. Police is working to make sure they get to the bottom of this, and arrests, if not made yet, must be made at the very earliest. No crime in our country must go unattended. In fact, every crime is registered. And even if it takes delayed response time, police, as part of their duty, must and will attend to all matters of crime. The 4 that happened right in the face of Waigani police station is not good, and police commissioner has been instructed to get to the bottom of this one and make arrest at the very earliest. In the face of our 50th anniversary, I want to use this question to point to one important and essential character our nation must rise up to. The easiest, the freest, and less cost contribution our citizens must give to our country is the respect of rule of law in our country. And in as far as a matter is concerned, I want to point to one example of a fine young councillor in my own electorate. In his village, including the loss of life of his wife and his mother. This young councillor, I've mentioned his name in this floor before, and it's worth mentioning again. Councillor Oli Urupu of Karida village never resorted to payback trouble fight violence that is predominantly known as a recourse and response by tribes. He lost his own, yet he said, I will report the matter. And 4 years on, some arrests have been made and continued arrest and work is happening as we speak up there in the mountains of the land of Hulis. And I want to say this is a good example to the rest of us. When the first murder ever took place on planet Earth, when son of Adam and Eve, Cain, murdered Abel, God's response was not to murder Cain and gave Cain punishment. Tooth for an tooth, eye for an eye is not the rightful manner in which we must respond. As painful as it may be, as delayed as police may seem to do their work, people are asked, if a murder takes place, don't repay with a murder. Report the matter to police. Police must then get to work at the very earliest. When you do recompense or react with another matter, you're bringing the case to yourself. I want to ask our people in the face of our nation's 50th, don't pay back, allow police to get to work. But in this instance, when the 4 or 5 were murdered in response to an assumed or perpetration of crime earlier, police is now getting to work in this one. In that area, there were one innocent bystander, a young daughter from Mendi, a university graduate who also lost life in a response by police around the place. Police officers concerned are right now under investigation as we speak. I want to say over 500 police officers throughout our country for everyday recklessness or discipline offences have been suspended or removed from the police force as we also work to restore young recruits into a police force. So these are part of the work that is ongoing to reconstruct. I must admit that police response time is slow to my dissatisfaction, but this is the capacity constraint we are faced with. But they will still get to attend to all matters. Let's not respond crime for a crime, an offence for an offence, a matter for a matter. I want to appeal to our people. Put on the restraint, report a first instance of break of law to the police, and we leave it to the police and we hold police to account for the response time. I want to say to the victims at Waigani market area, I do sincerely apologize. Police is attending to the matter that took place in Waigani, and we will get the police minister to report back to this house on the status of the police operations in investigation and reporting back. I want to also.
Mr. Acting Speaker.
Honourable Prime Minister, we have a point of order.
We appreciate that safety is all citizens' concerns, and the Prime Minister is responding to that. The Honourable Member for Goilala asked a specific question about his people and a chain of events and a series of clear atrocities that happened throughout the city, and the latest one being the Goilalas being burnt to a crisp. So can the good Prime Minister directly and expressly respond by stating whether the Goilalas, the people of Goilala, are safe to come into the city and conduct their business or not? Thank you, Acting Speaker.
The Honourable Opposition Leader, I think the Prime Minister has made mention on the safety of Goilala people, so I'll allow the Prime Minister to complete this reply. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I want to say Goilalas, like anyone, should be safe, must be safe, are safe in our city. However, like everyone else exposed to the atrocity and the lawlessness that is in our city and elsewhere, they tend to be exposed. But let me confirm, there is no discrimination targeted to Goilala per se, or anyone for that matter. Everyone is exposed to the same ruthlessness of lawlessness that sometimes emerge in the midst of our city. Police in our city have capacity issues too. Today you look at a city of over 1 million people with everyday migration in our city. That is why we are opening our country by roads. Before September this year, I should drive over to Leh from Port Moresby. And if that takes place, that is not only to hold back or bring in people into the city. You look at the city of Leh, they've lived with Highlands Highway and Medak Highway for the last 60 years. Leh City is not flooded with people to take up permanent residence in Leh. So Port Moresbyans, our nation's capital, or even surrounding provinces, Gulf, Central, should not, and we will tidy and work on stopping people from settling in land that is not theirs, and we tidy in these spaces so that we know who's coming in and out. And the road that we're constructing should take back out of this city. We have a class of Papua New Guineans who have emerged, who are now landless, who live in our city, who are second, third, not second, I beg your pardon, who are third and fourth generation. You go to Kagure, you go to other pockets of our city, you have fourth generation Papua New Guineans. Some from Guelala, some from Tari, some from other parts of our country have come in the 60s and 50s, who are still stuck here because they cannot get out. This road should get people who need to go back to their places to go back. And I point to people in our cities. If you really have nothing to do in our cities, there are enough land, your ancestors, you have ancestral land rights in your tribal lands back home. The opening of road from Port Moresby to Lae should now take people back. And to the people of Guelala, if there's an element of fear in this, I want to thank the member and his district for investing in the two main roads leading back to Guelala Mountains. This road should be supported by National Works Department, open at the very earliest. If Port Moresby, in terms of resident, is not there for you, then there's always a place in your home, place of origin, tribe of origin, where your land is free, your food is free. We work with partnership with all the districts. I'll start with Tari and everyone else, the fourth, fifth generation people from Tari who are in the city. When Connect PNG has opened up road, we'll ask all of them, you cannot live in the city, go back home. We're working with the nation's capital. I want to thank Governor Sparkok, who's now installing city cameras in our city. This work should go on for this year, next year. When we go to the 2027 elections, Port Moresby City must have camera in all parts of our country, including in all parts of our city, including a link to the police stations that the Honorable Kramer, when he was minister, he started on police modernization program in our city. That program must be picked up again. We link police in our city with camera, and a real-time quick response to arrests in our city is in the interest of the city authority and our government, so that we put Port Moresby City back on a path to full watch, full supervision of ICT-based police, as well as real police foot patrol, and make our city become a safer zone for Guelalas and anyone who chooses to live here. But the roads that we're building over time, in my view, I will point to our people. If you in Port Moresby, no work, no stay here, let's utilize the roads, go back home, and attend to our life by living in our villages or in our tribal land. But to Guelalas, please, member, have it from me as the head of the executive government. There is no systematic intention to attack Guelalas. If there's anyone who could understand the Guelalas better, it is a man from Tari. I understand you better. We are preserving, working in our city to preserve our city. I ask every one of us in our city, let's live with respect of each other. If you break the law, police, there's no excuse. Step in quickly, deal with the offenders of law. Thank you, Thomas.
We have a supplementary, the Honourable Member for Yalibu Pangia.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Supplementary, blomi golo question where Prime Minister explaining good. Lo member blogolala I talk finish. We have so many deaths happening right throughout the country under the administration of the current minister and the current police commissioner and the administration of the police force. Now, is the Prime Minister going to take some action similar to that he has done to the commander of the defense force, where one soldier died during the training exercise? He was suspended and sacked. Is there inconsistency in the decision making that the Prime Minister and his cabinet are doing? Why is the command structure of the police force not held accountable for administration of law and order in the country? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I want to appreciate the member for Yalupangia for this supplementary. The police commissioner like every other head of agencies, head of our forces, are accountable to our people, and in this instance to the government and to our parliament. And he is under scrutiny as much as every other agency heads are under scrutiny. I want to also say, whilst the recurrence of law incidences put him under the spotlight every now and then, equivalently, the police minister could present a report to us. Equivalently, he has dealt with more arrests, including arrest of police officers under his watch, than all the other commissioners put together. And so I stand in no way to defend him. He's under the spotlight to do work, and we expect him to rise up. A full report on his performance, if it is warranted, to this House, can be given to this House, so we understand fully the context of his work. The challenge we have the last 2 years, we've now bumped up resourcing to police, and so same time, more arrests has been made. For instance, the policeman who could have pulled the trigger in the unfortunate loss of that young daughter in Waigani market is now behind bars, so to speak. So work and respond, and as I said earlier, some response time may have been slow, but certainly all crimes have been reported upon. Response has been made. I want to say that if this Parliament deserves a full report on the work of the police commissioner, then the police minister will be asked to present a full report under his administration, what has taken place, a report on all investigations that has been running, all arrests that has been made, and Parliament could be satisfied to what is happening out there. But we don't intend to keep Commissioner at work if he's not delivering. Right now, to my understanding, all attention to law and order sector that is happening in the country has been responded. Work is taking place. I'll get the police minister to report back to this House fully to the satisfaction of the Mayor for Yolupange if he so sees fit.
Honourable members, our question time has lapsed. Our question time has lapsed, and Minister, I would not allow for you as a minister to make a supplementary question on this, but our question time have already been lapsed. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Acting Speaker, I ask leave of Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is leave granted?
Aye.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Acting Speaker, I move that so much of the standing orders be suspended as would prevent the notice numbers 139, 143, 148, and 149, government business, being called on forthwith.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favour say aye. Aye. And those against say no. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Order of the day, number 139, Community Development Bill 2025. Minister for Community Development, Youth and Religion, third reading vote.
The question is that the bill now be read the third time. In accordance with Constitution required, this bill must be passed by an absolute majority of 60 members. Clerk, please ring the bell. Attendants, close the door. The question is that the bill now be read a third time. Would those in favor please stand? Would those against please stand? Honorable members, in support of the Community Development Bill 2025, ayes have 75 votes, and noes 3 votes. Clerk.
Third reading, a bill for an act to A, to establish the National Community Development System, and B, to implement and coordinate the functions of the department responsible for community development and religious matters at the subnational levels in a centralized manner and for related purposes.
Clerk.
Notice number 143, Minister for Agriculture.
Thank you, Minister for Community Development. Minister for Agriculture.
Mr. Acting Speaker, I present the Biosecurity Bill 2025.
Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to A, to establish the Papua New Guinea Biosecurity Authority and its powers and functions, and B, to protect animal life, plant life, and associated environmental risks in Papua New Guinea through a sustainable biosecurity framework, and C, to prevent the introduction of plant pests and animal diseases in Papua New Guinea, and D, to control the spread of plants, pests, and animal diseases, and E, to eradicate the spread of plant pests and animal diseases, and F, to protect plants, resources, animal resources, and the environment, including agriculture production from 1, plant pests, and 2, animal disease, and G, to regulate the movement of and facilitate the trade in plants, animals, and their products, and H, to provide a biosecurity enforcement framework, and I, to create a robust environment for trade, investment, and agricultural production activities, and J, to give effect to the international standards under the World Trade Organization sanitary and phytosanitary measures and World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement, and K, to repeal and replace the National Agriculture Quarantine and Inspection Authority Act 1997 and for related purposes.
Minister for Agriculture.
Mr. Acting Speaker, let the bill be now read a second time.
Make your speech, Minister.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Mr. Acting Speaker, I rise to present to this Honorable House the Biosecurity Bill 2025 for its enactment. Mr. Acting Speaker, it has taken almost 20 years to deliver this proposed legislation, as it is not only technical, but there were gaps we had to cover in order to have this legislation finalized, one of which was biosecurity policy. Mr. Acting Speaker, before continuing my speech, let me comment and thank the last 2 predecessors as former ministers for agriculture and livestock, Mr. John Simon and Honorable Aye Tambua, who respectively successfully got the approval of the PNG Biosecurity Policy 2022-2032 and obtained the appropriate certifications of this bill from the Office of the State Solicitor and the First Legislative Council. Mr. Acting Speaker, this has allowed for me to now present this proposed legislation to this Honorable Parliament House. Mr. Acting Speaker, the current laws in PNG relating to biosecurity are outdated and are not compliant with World Trade Organization requirements in relation to trade in commodities in our renewable resources sector encompassing agriculture, fisheries, and forestry industries. Mr. Acting Speaker, the WTO agreements relating to biosecurity, which Papua New Guinea is a signatory, require countries to ensure they have in place appropriate international accepted safety and health standards to import and export their goods, and further obligate countries to implement an internationally accepted standard by administrative and legislative means. Mr. Acting Speaker, to essence in PNG needs to have in place a legislation providing for import controls, international controls and export controls pertaining to pests and diseases affecting animals, plants, and their products. And this biosecurity legislation attempts to address this. Mr. Acting Speaker, the final bill establishes the scope of biosecurity in the context of trade under the WTO SPS agreements, which includes import controls, internal controls, and export controls relating to pests and diseases affecting animal, plants, and their products. Mr. Acting Speaker, the final bill had to consider PNG's current bodies of biosecurity related legislation, including the Quarantine Act 1953, Chapter 234, Animal Disease Control Act 1952, Chapter 206, Plant Disease and Control Act 1953, Chapter 220, and Nakia Act 1997. All this legislation, Mr. Acting Speaker, are outdated and needing reform to implement these internationally accepted requirements to the WTO SPS agreement and the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement. Furthermore, the existing legislation dates back to the colonial era, which were not designed to address the international dimensions of biosecurity and thus not include the essential element of export biosecurity, and does not include provisions for effective biosecurity management at PNG's land border. Mr. Acting Speaker, a consultation forum on the final draft bill was conducted in July 2023, attended by a diverse group of Papua New Guinea stakeholders, including departmental, statutory, and industry sectors, who contributed towards finalizing the bill. The consensus view amongst the stakeholders is that a revised comprehensive legislation by way of a new bill should be enacted to collectively address important measures, internal measures and export measures relating to pest and disease affecting animal and plants to satisfy the objectives within a suitable time frame by bringing within a single legislation the numerous existing pieces of outdated legislation, strengthening international trade-related capabilities and strengthening regulatory compliance management capabilities. Mr. Acting Speaker, the stakeholders also agreed that the legislation should seek to maintain and enhance existing operational agreements between biosecurity authorities and other agencies where they exist, and between Papua New Guinea and trading partners to create a seamless, transparent, efficient regulatory framework with minimal potential bureaucratic impediments to trade and to enhance the practical enforceability of necessary requirements. Mr. Acting Speaker, the Biosecurity Bill, when enacted, will establish the Papua New Guinea Biosecurity Authority and be referred to as Biosecurity PNG, and repeal National Agricultural Quarantine Inspection Authority Act 1997 in its entirety, and all the provisions of the NACIA Act will be subsumed into Biosecurity Act 2023. Mr. Acting Speaker, this means that the current name, National Agriculture Quarantine and Inspection Authority, NACIA, will be changed to Papua New Guinea Biosecurity Authority or be referred to as Biosecurity PNG. Mr. Acting Speaker, other biosecurity-related legislation that will be repealed include Animal and Disease Control Act 1952, Channel 206, Plant Impose and Control Act 1953, Channel 2220, and Part 6 and Section 89, 89, 90, and 91 of the Quarantine Act 1953, Channel 234. Mr. Acting Speaker, Biosecurity PNG will be given the mandate to implement biosecurity export, import, and internal control functions, and will have the provisions to guide implementation of the export control functional responsibilities. Mr. Acting Speaker, Biosecurity PNG will continue to administer the biosecurity functions as an independent statutory authority from NACIA under the repealed NACIA Act 1997. Finally, Mr. Acting Speaker, in summary, the Biosecurity Bill, when enacted, will update the various biosecurity-related legislation, all of which are old and outdated, and bring them all under a single legislation and domesticate and makes as law and WTO, SPS, and trade facilitation agreement. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
The Honourable Governor for Morobe.
Mr. Speaker, or Acting Speaker, I rise to support this bill by the Honourable Minister for Agriculture, Honourable John Boito. He is the right and fit person to present this bill, Mr. Speaker, because the Honourable Minister is a farmer by himself, and he has been in the business in exporting coffee out of the country. And Honourable James Marabe, the Prime Minister, appointed him, rightly appointed him. The man with this experience should be sitting on that old chair in relation to matters of agriculture. Yes. So I commend him. Having read the preamble of the Act, proposed bill, he sets out what he wants to achieve in this bill. And all of those he wants to achieve are salient and they're good for this country, Mr. Speaker. And secondly, in the colonial times, we have a couple of legislation in relation to quarantine. And those legislation, in my humble view, will support the stand by the Minister that those bills did not satisfy the requirement of biosecurity sufficient enough. And in this bill that he has presented, he is endeavouring to make sure those mishaps or those omission, those matters not good for this country where in those legislation are attended to, and by this particular bill that he has presented will accommodate all of those matters. And having read the draft bill before this Parliament, I fully support the Minister, and the government team should feel obliged to support the Minister's bill which is before this Parliament. Honourable Deputy Speaker, we are talking about food. Food. Without the food, all human beings will perish from this planet. Where the food is produced in this country, or whether the food produced in other parts of the world, as long as they are eatable, they must be shared. They must be shared. And the World Trade Organization, the agreements that we have acceded and rectified before this Honourable Parliament previously in relation to the import and export of food throughout the nations of the world, they have supported it, and it is our business to make sure those agreements, either multilateral agreement or bilateral agreement in relation to the matter before this Parliament, must be supported, Mr. Speaker. And as I said, we are talking about food. I went to China, Mr. Acting Speaker, and I find that some of the foods that we eat them in my village, these are traditional food. Asplo kurusoko, asplo mango, mambo, watercress, all those food are being eaten in China, not in the taka shop, Mr. Acting Speaker, in the international hotel in Beijing, in Shanghai, Zhongjiang, those cities have attended, they are eating them. We grow them here. And even some of them, we don't grow them. They're wild. They're wild growing there. And they're consumed by people of the international community. Example, China, Mr. Speaker. And those kind of crops, if there is a demand out there, Mr. Acting Speaker, demand for consumption, then we should feel obliged to produce them in the quantity to satisfy those needs in the international community, Mr. Speaker. But those crops are not yet produced in the quantity to have them being exported to the consumers out there. Similarly so, some of the medical crops that we produce them here, and some of the animals that we produce them here, they are animals that's consumable out there in the international community. Take it, they are human beings like us. As long as it's eatable, as long as it is not risk to our physical being, we should consume them, Mr. Speaker. And we have to make sure in this country, not only do we concentrate on coffee, not only we should be concentrating on cacao, not only we should be concentrating on coconut, not only should we concentrate on the oil palm, you should be concentrating equally so on matter consumable, matters eatable by human beings on this planet Earth, Mr. Speaker. That should be the case. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, not enough money is spent. Budget in, budget out every year. We're not putting enough money for research, agricultural research. And I can say that there are some crops there, the property in those crops are consumable by human beings, should be consumable, Mr. Speaker, but we don't know them yet. We don't know them yet. Because when the effect of climate change comes to a stage in this country and the eatable food that we eat today become extinct, what are we going to resort to? Mr. Acting Speaker, what are we going to resort to. We need research to be conducted. Some are doing about we can eat them. Some plants out there, we see them, we cannot eat them, but they have eatable property that we should eat them. Through research, we can find out. And when we find out and we have an advantage in the sense that people out there can consume, we should export them and bring in the money. If we have the cooperative and competitive advantage, we're in a better position to export, Mr. Acting Speaker. So our concentration should not be principally on the traditional cash crop, we call them, as I've already mentioned, on other crops, and even other animals, including maybe snake. You don't eat them, but some fellows out there, they eat snake.
No, we eat snake too.
Mr. Acting Speaker, and this system, that this bill endeavors to make sure that we send clean food to the international market, be it in crops or be in husbandry. As long as they clean, they're going through the mechanism that this bill is trying to establish, to go through them, the check, physical check, and giving clearance, Mr. Acting Speaker. And the consumer out there is in the view that that should be consumed, comes in that check, in that standard, in that form, should be consumed. We should export them. This bill is endeavoring to achieve that. Equally so, the food, either husbandry or crops that is coming, Mr. Speaker, from overseas coming to this country, eatable, consumable by human beings in this country, they should be checked and adequately checked. And the system this bill endeavoring to establish to have it checked. We must support the minister. We must support. Some crops are coming in here, some meat, some whatever's coming in here, not being properly and adequately and scientifically checked. Not yet. They're coming to the right door, they're coming to the wrong door, they're coming anywhere, not being checked. And I hope and I trust, Mr. Acting Speaker, that when we pass this bill, we're going to have an institution which is going to check. Mr. Acting Speaker, in this bill here, I see the appointment, recommendation for the appointment of veterinary scientists. We have only human doctors dealing with the human being. Enough. They said not enough, but I said enough. But we don't have the doctors of checking the animals and the plants, the veterinary scientists. We don't have them enough here. This is an agricultural country. In the time immemorial until now, it's an agricultural country. It's our life.
Honourable Governor, we have a point of order.
Oh, thank you, Acting Speaker. Just to let the good governor know, we do have professional veterinarians in our country, and they are active in our agriculture industry. Thank you.
Thank you for the minister, but I can tell you what I was arguing is not enough. Just listen to my language. Not enough. Not enough. Not enough is different from what you have. Completely different. We're not having enough. We must have more veterinary scientists here in this country. Too many cows are dying. Too many sheep are dying. Too many pigs are dying. All crops are dying. We need animal scientists now to check the animals, to make sure the farmers are right. No plague affects their animal, be it pig or whatever animal. We need enough veterinary scientists. You go to Philippines. I visited country Philippines. Thousands of veterinary scientists there. And Philippines is producing Food for American soldiers, meat food and crop food. Take out a veterinary scientists there, they're doing it. And plant scientists there, they're doing it. They're doing it well. Exporting to the United States and bringing a strong currency into their country. And we're not doing here, Mr. Speaker. We're not doing enough. We're talking big roads and bridges and all of those things, coffee and coconut and all those things, but your food is very important. And we need to check, we need to export. If we can't do well in coffee, cacao, let's send other crops. We have a comparative and competitive advantage. Crops like Aspelumambu Naumi Ogantoto. We should have a big plantation of bamboos, eatable bamboos. There's so many bamboos, but I'm talking about eatable bamboos. We should have it. And the Chinese out there, they're going to buy it. We're going to bring more money here, as long as go through the check that Minister is trying to put up. Some other plants, we eat them here. Watercress. Prime Minister. What are lotari and place from watercress here? Me round and me looking finish. All of those places, we should be exporting watercress. Chinese eat them. We should be exporting kurusako. The Chinese eat them. Chinese eat the stalk, Chinese eat the leaf, Chinese eat the stem, Chinese eat the roots, Chinese eat the fruit, Chinese eat the nut. Mr. Speaker, those things, they can't chew them. They're just growing everywhere. Sometimes you don't grow them. They're just growing. We should take advantage of those kind of crops, Mr. Speaker. And those crops, when checked by international check and our check, they should eat the source of other countries out there in the international community. We make money. Make money. And the Minister for Work is doing a good job. I already commend him. He's taking the road up to places. I commend him. To take it to Miniamia, take it to Kabul, take it to Sialom. All those crops that I've mentioned are there. Take the road there. They produce them in the quantity ready to be checked and to be exported. That's what we need. And the Minister is endeavoring to make sure that happens, Mr. Speaker. So those food, Mr. Speaker, so very important for food. And animal, Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now I saw it in a BBC program, Mr. Speaker. I saw in the BBC program. Now they're not going to produce any cows in Britain when the climate change hits that country, that part of the world, Mr. Speaker. They're now going to produce meat in the laboratory. Meat in the laboratory. Doesn't require you look at them cow when them. They just get whatever from the plants or whatever, and they produce the meat for you, Mr. Speaker. And when the climate change hit the world in a magnitude that we're in a position to bring in the a component of meat, those kind of meat will come to our shores. And we need to have them checked. Make sure that the meat is produced from what material. What kind of plant they use to produce the meat in the test tube. The advanced countries are moving that way. And this system here that Minister is establishing, the bill is going to enable us to achieve, will check those meat produced by other means in the test tube and in the laboratory, Mr. Speaker. And that is coming because of the climate change which is eating the world now. And we must get ready for it, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, the fish that we eat them in the sea needs to be checked. Needs to be checked with due respect to the fisheries minister and with due respect to the companies operating in this country, catching fish and sending them. Mr. Speaker, those fish needs to be checked, Mr. Speaker. Too many too many contamination in the sea. Plenty rust, something like water, something or fish for now.
Plastic.
The plastic, Mr. Speaker, the plastic. Minister for Fish, the plastic thrown into the sea. We have not done enough to collect those rubbish. Those rubbish, chemical composition of those rubbish are dangerous to the sea and dangerous to the physical consumption of human beings. Some of you are sitting here, some of us, Mr. Speaker. And those fish needs to be checked and thoroughly checked. Are we getting fish from outside coming in? Or fish going out of this country needs to be checked. And with fish and other animals, we need to be checked. We are producing enough cows, enough cattle. Makam Valley and Ramu Valley producing enough cattle. But the Australians and other countries are low quality. Low quality. One can something make him high quality, or level quality, or like him like. We don't know. But it's a low quality cow. That's why they can't accept our meat, send directly fresh meat to them. They want us to buy their meat. But their meat has to be checked. It's been contaminated, those meat has been contaminated, or good meat. But I think that our meat too, we should produce them more, and if goes by the standard, accept our meat, otherwise we will never accept your rice or whatever, accept our meat. Quality. And the chickens, the same. We need to make sure that chicken eat the right food and the composition of their meat is eatable and the composition of meat is free from contamination. We should be allowed to export. So the country, through this agreement, we're going to tell the whole world that our crops are potentially eatable, Mr. Speaker. All we need to be satisfied, Mr. Speaker, is to make sure that through this system, they're going to be properly checked. And when Australian guy receives a meat from Makam Valley, Honourable Speaker's Valley, our valley, sorry, they know the meat is of high quality as any bull that you can find in Lockham Terminal or wherever in Australia. That's what should happen. That's what should happen. And I don't think that we should restrict our import and export to 1 and 2 countries. We go around the world and see who are the consumers or potential consumers of our product. We find them, make deals with them, bilateral agreement or multilateral agreement, and we sell our product. Agriculture is very important. Important matter in this country, agriculture. We can forever build the road and all of those things, but if there's no food to eat from inside or from outside come in, we're going to die and bound to die. Mr. Minister, I thank you. Your bill is in order, and you have my vote, and I support you 100%.
The Honourable Minister for Culture and Tourism.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Mr. Acting Speaker, me too, me sanablong supporting this bill. Mr. Acting, me commending Minister of Agriculture or kissing this very important transformational bill. As you may look go along 50th anniversary blow you me. And me good plan long. You may look in on key ministers, especially in the resource sector. Look on major reforms or bills to come to Parliament or making some major changes. Over the time you may are in long legislative amendments, mining, oil and gas, but agriculture, forestry, fisheries are most important sustainable industries in our country. It is very encouraging to see our good minister to bring this bill to Parliament. And also we thank the 2 former ministers as well who have put a lot of efforts in this, and also our public servants who have worked tirelessly to coming up with this major reform. Apart from the reform, me looking inside this bill and rebranding of the name. It's also timely, as you may come along this 50th anniversary. It demonstrates that what the Marape Rosso government is doing, trying to achieve and trying to bring major reforms, looking at our country past 50 years. Mr. Speaker, debate Lomi basically talk thank you, Law Minister, mostly law controls, especially all imports that come inside the country. Mr. Acting Speaker, we have had many problems with our commodities in cocoa pod bora, in vanilla, in coconut, or leaf only dye nothing, basically because we do not have our controls in place. And our legislations are mostly obsolete, useful the changing world. This reform and this new legislative reform where Minister Amikarmikam, I believe it will enhance the control systems in our country. And plenty time too, Mr. Acting Speaker, you may lose thinking too long, border security, where quarantine, Nakia must play a major role. I say this because my electorate shares the common border with Indonesia. We have serious issue on the border where our people are bringing in food from Indonesia. And most of the food have high sugar content. The planting of citizens for me only now work diabetes. And we don't have quarantine on the border. Our borders are left bare naked. And even in the security system, police and army blame it patrolling border on a daily basis. Now illegal trades will go on. Cocoa pod bora have been break out the country, and because all people blame me living along the border only buying seedlings outside. The current come inside the country blame me. We have non-existence of quarantine and border security on the borders. We are the only country in this region that shares the common land border. And yet, government in, government out, we have not done nothing on the border security. And border security comes with biosecurity, the quarantine. I thank the minister for bringing this timely bill. And I believe through this bill, we can now look at how we strengthen our borders along the common land border and also the ships coming in, the planes coming in into our country. Our immigration systems, our quarantine system is very weak. Plenty of kagaruku imi importe mikam. You know what good luck check. It's either the customs officers have been bribed to bring these goods into the country. They're affecting you me. Rice come inside the country. You may checking sugar level of rice or no God. Now plenty can of soft drink too will come inside the country. Our challenge now is, Minister, it's good we have passed this, we are going to pass this law. Now we have to look at the enforcement. How are we going to enforce these laws? We got to now look at the public service system. We got to get rid of the corruption in the public service system. Plenty time we may talk about corruption or politicians, but we are not looking at the corruption at the public service level. Yeah. That is eating the very fabrics of our society, of our democracy, of our country. Good law, you may pass more law. Just now you may talk about the law and the situation in the country. You may pass in law here. But where is the enforcement? Everything else we do in Parliament comes back to enforcement of those laws. So, Mr. Acting Speaker, Mi amamas no minister, no currents no bill come. Not only any kisim major amendment lodge la bill, but any rebranding. Any sensitive name, any good plan. Instead, let me call him agriculture quarantine, na inspection authority, NACIA. Number let me call him Papua New Guinea Biosecurity Authority. Any good plan name. A meeting any good plan name. You know, I'm also doing the same in the tourism. Instead of calling it Tourism Promotion Authority, we now going to call it Papua New Guinea Tourism Authority. So these are kind of reforms we need in our country leading into the 50 years and beyond. But Minister, me like making one recommendation, consistent with your rebranding of the name. You talk also Papua New Guinea Biosecurity Authority, and then behind you talk also referred to as Biosecurity PNG. I think to be consistent, you must call him PNG Biosecurity. I mean, more consistent one, the name you give him also PNG Biosecurity Authority. But otherwise, Mr. Acting Speaker, I fully support this bill, and I think, Minister, you have done the right thing. All we need now is enforcement along our common land borders from Torasi to River Tami in Torasi in Western Province to River Tami in West Sepik. You must increase controls on the border. Me looking lo vanimo instead lo nakia sindan ista or now by me call him PNG Biosecurity Authority. Or lami sindan ista. You know walk lo lami lo segimol passengers or line go come long border. Walk lami lo patrolling border. Long time me talking Defense Minister. Rausimo lami lo this map. Army should be on the in the jungles patrolling our borders, not sitting there and becoming the PNG Biosecurity Authority. Their job is to patrol the borders, to ensure that there is no illegal crossing from the other side or from our side. So I hope the Defense Minister is listening. I need the soldiers to be immediately removed and allow the PNG Biosecurity Authority to be placed there so they check the goods and, of people and people going in and from Indonesia to Papua New Guinea, to and fro from Papua New Guinea and Indonesia. You know got big lot check lot. Plenty of soft drink come upside. Also drink high sugar level content. And you got all the money checking. Minister of Land, you know, like you make him walk. Only stop way. Me no looking more walking walk lo vanimo. Plenty of citizens for me only die of diabetes, just because of lack of enforcement on checking on these items that are coming into our country. So, Minister, you work on the Defense Minister. Rasu mo lami lap, togo mo lami lo patrol lo border. Patrol lo tami go na losing one them border one the Western Province. Na lari mo na officers lo imi lo now nubla name you give him also Papua New Guinea Biosecurity Authority lo performing duties for. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Me fully supporting this bill. Thank you.
Deputy Opposition Leader.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. I too stand to support the bill wholeheartedly. I concur with the honourable leaders in the initial opening statements. The bill is very important. It's timely. I commend the good Minister for Agriculture, Acting Speaker. And just some points, Acting Speaker, is Papua New Guinea is a country that depends on agriculture. So for the Minister to bring in this timely bill that stops the spread of infectious disease like bird flu, like the foot and mouth disease that affects livestock, the mad cow disease. We have the African swine fever that has affected pigs throughout the highlands, and we still have blockades and checkpoints on the Highlands Highway now. Newcastle disease and mad cow disease, and a whole host of other infectious diseases that require effective biosecurity mitigation strategies to identify and solve these infectious diseases that affect our livestock. So thank you, Honourable Minister, for protecting the agricultural industry. Just to take on from what the Honourable Minister for Tourism and Culture said, Acting Speaker. Just to put things in perspective in terms of scale, according to the Trading Economics website, Papua New Guinea on an annual basis deals with 204,518 containers, 20-foot containers. 204,518 20-foot containers. Each one of these containers must be inspected and approved by quarantine. It's a mammoth task that we expect the good officers in the Agricultural Department in Nakia, now the PNG Biosecurity Authority, to undertake. And through you, Acting Speaker, to the good Prime Minister, this requires funding. Enforcement requires funding. The good Minister for Agriculture has to be given his lion's share in the 2026 development budget so we can see this policy reform effectively translate into development and positive outcomes for the people of Papua New Guinea. Otherwise, I commend the good Minister for his bill and for being meticulous in ensuring that it covers the whole gamut of issues that affect biosecurity. As the Minister for Tourism also alluded to, we are a nation that is girded by sea. We need effective coordination amongst the ministries, agriculture, defense, to ensure that we protect our people and our food source and our crops from the potential of infectious diseases that I've named before. With that, I commend the good Minister and I fully support this bill. Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Member for Wabec.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Let me also take this time to thank the Agriculture Minister for this timely bill, the Biosecurity Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest issues we face as a nation is capacity. We have capacity issues. When I was the Minister for Fisheries, we attended the Sino-Pacific trade meeting in Samoa, and as we were negotiating for trade deals with China to sell our fishery products, both live and dead products, to China, we realized that the Agriculture Department was not up to par. The reason being that they had capacity issues and they couldn't pass the biosecurity requirements that China needed. And it delayed all the agreement at that point in time. So, Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest problems we have is capacity issues. Now, with this bill passed, I assume the government will put funding into, constructing these big labs where they can do these tests, because right now, if you look at the foods that are coming into this country, we have a small lab in Gordon's that actually deals with all the chemical, assays and analysis, which is not really good. As the Minister for Health, we had a huge rice trade war happening in this country. There were certain rice importers who actually bypassed all the requirements, all the security checks, and they pushed in containers of rice. Now, as you realize from the debate done by the other leaders, one of the biggest problems we have in this country in terms of food security is having the right amount of food. When rice was initially imported into this country, there used to be some very strict requirements. They have to have some certain nutrition additions that are actually added onto the rice for it to be sold in this country. Now we realize that a lot of the rice that are coming into the country don't have those trace vitamins, we call them. Things like vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and that are very, very important for growth, especially mental, neural capacity growth. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this is a very important thing that needs to be addressed because it goes to the basics of national growth. It deals with our Piginini developer, our children. They need to be nutritionally fit to actually learn better in schools, number one. Number two, you may talk about putting another team going inside Australia. But you can look at more line for me, you see, we can't compete at the States. We have to be realistic. Those things must come from these kind of offices. Those policies must be driven by these kind of offices. You mean must have a policy approach now, strategic approach to these ambitions that we have. Now about something, Mr. Speaker, now we see a rise in a lot of lifestyle diseases, as pointed to by a couple of our speakers. But one very important lifestyle disease is cancer. Cancer is caused by 4 things. Number one, suppose you got some like genetic predisposition. If you are predisposed to that infection, to that illness, you probably might have cancer. Number 2, radiation. Number 3, viruses. And number 4, chemicals. The chemicals, additives that we are not putting a check to them, unfortunately, Mr. Speaker. We just don't have the capacity to do that. And recently, we are seeing a rise in the incidence of cancer in this country, Mr. Speaker. And it's very important. Now we see a rise in autism in this country because air moles are coming up because of exposure of chemicals. So, Mr. Speaker, whilst we approve this bill today, I want us to give the support necessary to our minister. Number one, as you realize, China, because it has a lot of capacity is quite big, it was willing to actually come on board to assist us to meet the quarantine requirements. Unfortunately, countries like Australia and other countries in our neighborhood won't do that. Now, we are missing out on a big market in Australia. There's a big sort of, trade imbalance between us and Australia. We can't even sell our towels, while the Pacific Island countries can sell their towels to Australia.
And this is the key.
That's because of this biosecurity, a roadblock that we had. Now, by passing this bill, we just don't have to feel good that we've passed a biosecurity bill in this parliament. We have to go one step further and put funding into it and build the capacity necessary. We will supply the world with food. We have to build capacity so that we can supply the world with food. We have the potential to do that, Mr. Speaker. Now about something, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, organizations like fisheries, they subscribe to very, very strict international conventions. We can't sell our tuna. When I was minister, they gave us a yellow card. They were on the road to giving us a red card, which would mean that our tunas will not be sold on the world market. And they have quite stringent processes that they go through. And NFA needs that capacity to deliver. Right now, I'm hearing that the government is mopping up all their funds. In our desperation for money, we are mopping up all their funds, and we are not giving them that money. Sooner or later, we will get red card, and you know what? We earn about over 600 million every year from exporting our fishes, from selling our fishes, and that will be cut. You build up a nation by building the capacity. The government should put its hand to the bottom and collect down there in taxes, not going up there and strangulating our money-making, industries in this country. Now, fisheries can't conduct its normal functions, I'm telling you. Law-mandated functions, fisheries can't conduct, and I'm sure it's the same with forestry. I'm sure it's because we are strangulating them. These are the golden hen, the golden goose that lay the eggs for us. We need to build capacity. Countries grow because capacities in their organizations grow. Governments should go below and collect in taxes. Let the money trickle down and you collect in taxes. You are going there and to the non-tax revenue bill. You can strangulate them over organizations. In a long time, all by giving red card of fisheries, and no fish will be sold from this country, I'm telling you. Because there are strict requirements. They have to do checks. They have to go out there and do quarantine checks and all of that to tick all the requirements before you start selling your products. So, Mr. Speaker, in supporting this bill, let's build up our capacity. We lack capacity, number one. Number two, let's appoint good people to those positions. Don't appoint political cronies, please. We are destroying this nation because we are appointing incompetent political cronies to these positions of trust. You plant him corn, but you harvest him corn. You plant him cacao, but you harvest him cacao. You don't harvest him coconuts. You know, if you want to go in a direction to Australia, you travel south, you don't travel north. We say one thing, we pass these bills to feel good. We come with all the security, you know, sort of policies on the floor, but yet the numbers don't actually, you know, head up. We have to be honest with ourselves. Agriculture and backbone block country, when we passed the STARS, when Honorable Charles Abel passed the STARS, the Strategy for Responsible and Sustainable Development, he said that when our resources run out, we will depend on agriculture and green growth to sustain this country. And once we enjoy all the windfall from the LNG gases, from the gold and all of that, we must build capacity in agriculture. We must put money where our mouth is, so to speak. We can't just give lip service and don't do anything about these things. We can't expect to pray and expect God to, you know, create miracles, huh? Papa God, give him ground, you may plant him kaigai, and then later on we can thank God for the food. You know, we have to help our industries like agriculture. You may need help in fisheries, you may need help in forestry. We are strangulating these very, very important organizations that, you know, make money for this country. Because we are desperate for cash, we are getting their money, and they have nothing to do their ordinary, you know, their mandated functions. So, Mr. Speaker, let me congratulate the Minister for Agriculture. Coffee is doing a lot of good job. We are seeing a lot of results in coffee. We've seen a lot of results in cocoa. Let's continue to invest in these sectors, because once our money, once our, you know, our mines and our oil fields run dry, agriculture is the thing that will actually take us to, and our children, into the future. One time, before me finish, Mr. Speaker, Biosecurity Office Blomipla Imitok Lowokim. I think you may need to talk one time. Now, long Health Department all start building lab facility, long making checks, long order something before you miss extreme results from overseas, like cancer or pneumonia or cancer something. We are building it now, thanks to ADB and thanks to this government. We are doing it now. I think it's about time, Minister, we should look into that and build a huge facility once and for all. We can't have a small shed operating out of Gordon's that deals with this important thing. We don't realize that, you know, this is having a very, very big impact on the lives of our people. If you address nutrition, you cut health spending by half. You know, it's simple as that. That's why public health is actually #1 priority of any government. So thank you, Madam Bisla, thank you, Lord, giving me opportunity.
The Honorable Governor for Western Highlands.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Me too, like to thank you long. Me like to thank you long, Agriculture Minister long Karim Disla important Billy Kamla Parliament where you may also the debate. Agriculture is one of the very important and backbone blow people blow you mean in our country also. Papua New Guinea is one blessed country where Kaikan law, in a grow law world is a come up here. Na Papua New Guinea, you know, Papua New Guinea law narplap a law world. Na especially province Blumi, also in Western Islands, na Mount Agen. Come up also have a food basket, Lord, is la country too. Na me talk thank you, Papa God. Agriculture Minister, me talk thank you. Me talk thank you na me like him too also you must look at plenty or law blow save him. Or one of them come in law country. Na two future blow agriculture inside law country blow you me. You may got coffee, tea, na timber, plenty or something where you got commodities where you may can export to go outlaw marble country na sim some revenue coming set. But to lo agriculture lo kaike lo people blue me looking more some country blue you must look good lo one can seek ba coming set maxim plant all good like crops blue me too. All country also Australia na plenty of country in the world time you like go visit time you like go land Australia lo balus all quarantine laws Australia and by you looking you time you like come Australia you go around lo one bla farm or you go around lo one bla plantation or no got time on the question all asking time you like go down Australia because all concerned through law food security. But blow you mean law Papua New Guinea time all visitor law arbor country come down loya you make at some rule na law same no got mino clear mino looking to plenty all kaike all same potato blow you mean and we got one plus sick finish before you mean got this last sick. But now plenty potato farmers in Western Islands all like planting potato, big money all using buy one marasin where before all na say using the marasin too. Now me feeling more same one foreign sick and all outside all country sim come na losing country and now you may leave one time this la sick potato. One can also to coffee. Me feeling more some one plus sick two stop on them coffee too na plenty time you may deal one them this la na plenty on narble kaike too even cocoa too sabas one plus sick come sim you me by me make one too so I'm also also me talk la side agriculture now me like touch also please minister you can look good long on laws protect him or this la one kind on kaike you mix him na stop. Same time on kaike come in lo country or kaike you make kaike lawyer you rightful minister na or some this law now you making belong by you look more law where and guide him on kaike blue you me. Last time some on kaike been coming lo country or some cocktail, I think, long country blue all Benin cocktail coming chat. But all Chinese been some cocktail coming chat lo country. Na some all been salim la hagen. Na all quarantine man go all got all hagen na only check him also all pine sambla container. Ambat 6 container go la hagen. Now quarantine man long Port Moresby go pine all is like Paimol ask him Chinaman and to him buying blows long lay. One local man salim also la container long him. Na emusat local man all to him salim outside lo street na me buy him na now me no sawe. This la local man emusat me no sawe all to also. And some weakness too country blowing me stop long him all some coming set. Maybe through the warfare, through the sample up and plant the loophole stop where all business houses now, all man outside looking all Simon Sakeke coming set.
African swine flu come up.
African swine flu to come up long and same too.
Same
and same road too coming set. Now country blame me fully developed, but all people blame me all rely long on noble country by protecting Mipla. Now Mipla by relying on agriculture. So agriculture backbone you mean fall back to agriculture. Now minister, me talk thank you also you carry this law. Law he come na me like him you look more law plenty on law. Sample kaike you mean now you mean walk like sim start one pla and beetle nut. Beetle nut and come up also one pla and cargo cart where Antabla Highlands, Milugum also, all got a farmer blow, you mean now all lose thinking of planning Kaike long. Market.
Come to Mosbina.
Now all got a man like Karim's la plastic boy round. You call one bla roadside market where you looking one bla mama selling a banana mau or some bla narla kege stop. And that 1 or 2 bla basalim stop. No what some bla man basam stop. You go one la lil market, you look one la Mary, only one la plastic boy stop. Amas bla 10, 20 bla man round him la Mary. Only plastic bag stop na. All day ball cast na lulos la boy ko inap. Avenue amas la hawa all kilim na all kege boy na. Na planting man milak talk sabe of them planting man die lo cancer. Mouth cancer and boy contributing big bla too long country.
Yeah, you're right.
All our sick by you bla sabe planting man die lo cancer. Na boy am contribute big bla factor. Boy contributing. So, Minister, you can find some law too low by you me try long, Benimsla, boy too, come in law, all city or because Milugum also Mantabla Highlands, boy and one black and big black Kago County come up Highlands.
Honorable Governor, we have a point of order.
You must you can debate behind.
Acting Speaker, Governor is touching very critical point about agriculture. And he said it very well. His statement was to the point. But when he touched about buai, I know buai is trying to ban it, but you can't ban it. But buai is also another commodity. So you must find how to regulate it. But when he touched more on buai, he's sort of going outside the scope. So this is my point of order, Acting Speaker.
Honorable Member for Mosby Northeast, your point of order is out of order. It's a debate and allow the governor to put on his debate.
Sorry, Antala province me lo Western Islands. Me lugum also all man blo work lo farm sort now. You me all man blo kaikai and plant it through come up. Now all farmers and sort loss la country. Now all the man milugum also all block kokam block simboin na killing time na passing time na man but work lo garden but no got now. Even you me government to make him where all school pinini almost lining work lo agriculture lo school too. Now milugum also all man block work lo garden back was sort. Now lilik man work lo garden lo way me got 4, 5, even 10 man back sim same kaike was salim sim nadla 5 pina nadla back sim ko nadla sim 5 pina go to tag man lo house kaike now I'm finished. And one bla farmer work lo way man you mean ba making all same start now. Boy and one bla big bla problem and contributing. Antapla Islands, you blow man on Nambis place where you blow planning boy and more right. And custom believe all custom all Tumbuna bin Kage come, but Antapla Highlands, city of Mount Hagen and you like some big la bagra boy staying now.
You been him.
Boy and some plenty old man pining. See cancer. Now you blow man on Nambis, you blow Salim boy one la Kamba, you blow make him here. All toggle stems like Kambang all mix it one time, some black and fibro wax, simbo all planting months in cancel or mouse too. Because Kambang and boy and come a very expensive through the country.
Asbestos.
But all boy grow up, but me sorry through the toggle stem, but me trying to save him life too.
Yeah, you're right.
Now future you me too.
It's a security risk.
So boy and come up one black and
security risk.
Security risk, health risk. Now and give me blah environment and making environment go no good all gata paint him on bad picture long all gata upload province now no city blow you me too.
Making people lazy.
Now planting man lo port must be no got work blown. All survive lo year because all can salim boy now all can. All can round lo yeah. Now give him plenty problem lo. Governor, you want them city of Port Moresby too.
Honorable Governor, I'd like to inform the two governor with you on the row. I can hear three people debating at the same time on my earpiece, so allow the governor to make his debate. Thank you.
Deputy Speaker, Nibla triple governors and one blood talk, we all got us talk one time support, so that's why I'm to stop. But anyway, our Council Minister, thank you, you. Thank you, long Karim Slabili Kamla Parliament. He got plenty bill, he got low staff where please you look na Karim Kamla Mibla but still continue to support you. He got plenty something staff where you may not talk longer but at least you one black come and miss our next you but line him up next in plenty come. So thank you.
The Honorable Member for Samarai Murua.
Thank you, Acting Speaker, for giving me time long. Participate in this very important debate regarding this bill, the Biosecurity bill. Now, the reason why me like giving support to this bill is simple. This bill will now pave way for this country to give more emphasis, giving more focus to the primary industry sector. That would mean that it will engage the majority of our people in the rural sector, in agriculture, in fishery, in livestock, whatever that is based in rural production, it will now enhance them. Because this bill paves way for our produce to be exported. And by misalim, we go to markets that are beyond our boundaries. And by go to China, and by go to half of Japan, and by go to half of the world where they need our primary produce. Over the time in Sato Papua New Guinea's economy is import dependent. It's about time we reverse this flow, that more must go out, less must come in. We create the trade that will enhance the economic development of this country. So, Minister, Agriculture, we commend you for bringing this ICAM, because it will definitely help him our rural sector. Time you go along Hagen market, you will look around every day. After the sale, Almani go to market, every daily sale time will go finish. You look at the market refuse. It consists of fruits, vegetables, and nuts. If you throw away nothing, if you dump in nothing, and these foods that you throw away nothing, it's highly sought after in the global market. Why? Because it is organically grown. Any organically grown commodity and certified in the global market, all manned by Raslongen. And we are now dumping tassel on markets, long Hagen, long Goroka, long Chimbu, long Wabeg, Gordons. You go all get a half of country, long Lay, long Rabal, long Kavian, long Sipik, long Wiwet. You go right through the country, you will see that the market refuse is in tons. And that's waste. That shouldn't be the case. Why? Because of market limitation in the country. We need to go abroad. You must go outside, this country of Papua New Guinea, to sell our produce that is organically grown. It is highly sorted. So, Minister, me not can make him plan talk. I support you. This is the time that we need to support this kind of bill. And with this support, it will now enable us to build our capacity. Build our capacity in Nakia, build our capacity in immigration, build our capacity in customs. We need to all work together to create this bill a success. And let's change the way we do business in this country. More must go out, less must come in. And this economy will grow. If the masses of people are engaged in this industry, in primary industry, the economy of this country will be transformed overnight. I commend you, Minister. I give you my support. Thank you.
Minister for Health.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. I'd like to stand to support this important bill presented by the Minister for Agriculture. I will speak on the context of public health. Sections 44 lo sila bill tok lo imaskata biosecurity at the border. That's very important. The current polio virus that is now detected in our country, especially at Ley, is confirmed to be the similar ones circulating in Indonesia. Milagano chimtsula today. And during the recent World Health Assembly 78 long Geneva, I had a meeting with the Minister for Health of Indonesia, and I'm making stressing tokol sem imaskat biosecurity stablo border Papua New Guinea, Indonesia border. So I have this opportunity to announce today in this particular bill to say that it is a must. We must establish this important biosecurity system at the border as a matter of urgency. Section 41, 44, 45, 46, and tokol this is something. Recently, in the World Health Conference too, Papua New Guinea supported Indonesia to become part of us, the World Western Pacific region. They have now transited from Southeast Asian region to Western Pacific region. That is now making it very important for us to stay together, stand together, collaborate on such important matters in terms of addressing public health within our region to stress these important points. So I want to stress again that we need this biosecurity system established at the border as a matter of urgency. I want to commend the former Minister for Health, Dr. Lino. He said something about having in place a national reference laboratory. I want to confirm today the funding of 150 million kina supported by ADB is confirmed, and we will be establishing that particular arrangement as a matter of priority. Milato, thank you, long. Former Ministers for Health, Lotisla system in place. This will be constructed Laloki within the Department of Health land. As part of the Laloki precinct, we will improve that particular area of our country. So Milato, so clear today, we must now take this opportunity, riding on what is now in place, supported by the Indonesia. They are willing to support us. It's up to us now, having this particular bill in place. Let's make this as our important agenda. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
The question is that the question be put. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. No. Ayes have it. The question is that the bill now be read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Aye. And those against say no. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Second reading. A bill for an act to establish the Papua New Guinea Biosecurity Authority and its powers and functions, and B, to protect animal life, plant life, and associated environmental risks in Papua New Guinea through a sustainable biosecurity framework, and C, to prevent the introduction of plants, pests, and animal diseases into Papua New Guinea, and D, to control the spread of plants, pests, and animal diseases, and E, to eradicate the spread of plant pests and animal diseases, and F, to protect plant resources, animal resources, and the environment, including agricultural production from 1, plant pests, and 2, animal diseases, and G, to regulate the movement of and facilitate the trade in plants, animals, and their products, and H, to provide a biosecurity enforcement framework, and I, to create a robust environment for trade, investment, and agriculture production activities, and J, to give effect to the international standards under the World Trade Organization, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, and World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement, and K, to repeal and replace the National Agriculture Quarantine and Inspection Authority Act 1997 and for related purposes.
Honourable members, I have to announce that I have received a message from His Excellency, the Governor General, dated 28 May 2025, recommending the expenditure of public monies of Papua New Guinea and imposition of taxation in accordance with Section 210 of the Constitution, insofar as the bill relates to the provide for such expenditure. Minister for Agriculture.
Mr. Acting Speaker, I ask leave of the Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Minister for Agriculture.
Mr. Acting Speaker, I move that the bill be now read the third time.
Governor for Oro.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. I just want to contribute to the wonderful debates and presentations already made here by my colleagues, and just want to support the bill. Well overdue. Well overdue. It will open up markets for our farmers. But in order for this to be successful, we need to ensure that we have the supporting infrastructure in place, the necessary facilities and capacity to be able to benefit as much as we can from this bill, of this law that we are about to pass. We also have to ensure that we have the necessary training facilities for vets, as pointed out by the good governor for Morobe. We actually have only 2 Papua New Guinean vets, and we don't have training facilities for vets in this country. This is a huge, glaring reality that we must confront and do something about. So I totally agree with the governor for Morobe in his presentation. I always learn something from the governor when he presents, including the fact that Krusako is nuts. I didn't know that, Governor, but thank you for that information. Anyway, continuing with my debate on this very important matter. One of the complaints that we have had is, how do we enter markets overseas? The markets of Australia, New Zealand, Europe, even China and other parts of Asia. And the fact is, they have very strict standards in regards to what they let into their country. We can't expect them to lower those standards for us. In fact, what we have to do is review what standards they have and put in place mechanisms to ensure that we meet those standards. And that's where the development of capacity is very important here. Our neighbors in the Pacific have done this. In fact, it's interesting to note here that Fiji's biosecurity protocols were constructed by Papua New Guinean scientists. They led that effort almost 10 years ago, under the watch of Dr. Sidney Suma, I believe. And he offered to do the same for Papua New Guinea about 10 years ago, unless, unfortunately, his proposals fell on deaf ears then. But now you see Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, these small island nations doing very well exporting their crops all over the world. And now we are there. It's good to see that we have finally arrived, but there's a lot of work yet to be done, as alluded to by many of the members here in their debates. Developing capacity, training our farmers. Our people are natural farmers, but we farm for our own use or needs. What we need to do is train our farmers to be able to farm in a manner that is necessary for this bill to be successful, whereby they can be able to produce consistent quality supplies. In addition to that, I would like to say that there's a potential for a niche market that we can take advantage of, organic food. All around the world, because of globalization and rapid development taking place, improvement of technology, commercial farming, the use of chemicals and technology, most land is quite contaminated. Papua New Guinea's land is very much raw, untapped, uncontaminated, but it will not remain so if we're not going to carefully guard this reality. So besides this, we have to look at how we can guard this, how we can tap into this niche market how we can train our farmers so that they can farm the products that are needed out there and that are much in demand in many of these economies. I would also like to add that I think some of the organizations need help. NARI is doing a magnificent job, but they need more funding. We do not put enough money into research and development in this area, into agriculture. We need to look at this. We need to do more for that. As for NACIA, on the other hand, I have to say that in the last 10 years, I've witnessed the demise of NACIA. When I was Commissioner of Customs, that organization was actually way ahead of all of us. It was way ahead of immigration, way ahead of customs, way ahead of all the other authorities in terms of how it was meeting regional and world standard. Those standards in NACIA have dropped significantly, and I want to say that this is because of the poor management of that organization over the last 10 years. So, Minister, you need to do a diagnostic review of that organization. That organization is going to be pivotal in you ensuring that this bill, these laws are successful, and that our farmers benefit, our nation benefits from the laws that we are about to enact now. And with that, I would say that you carry out an immediate diagnostic of that organization, a review, take an approach whereby it's a sick entity, it needs treatment, and this diagnostic will expose that. And you can get experts from around the world, even our neighbors, and they can help you carry out this diagnostic and completely overhaul that organization so that it can be a modern, relevant entity that is able to ensure that this bill and laws that we pass are meaningful and just. Thank you.
The opposition leader.
Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. Me, I'm short, Tasso. I'll try my best to be short. First of all, Assistant Speaker, me like talk awesome. Me one bill of this bill come, and I'm here to speak in support of that bill. Simply because it's well overdue, and it must happen now. Now me like talk. How much na talk? Thank you, lo former agriculture minister, the member for Goroka. Lo work blow you. I want to also say thank you to the current minister that you have taken it on board and you brought it forward for this the enactment by this parliament. Mr. Speaker, we cannot avoid the fact that we are part of the international community. Now, because we are part of the international community, we will face such threats in our country. And Mr. Speaker, Assistant Speaker, when the governor for Western Highlands was speaking, he highlighted some of the common diseases that are already in our country, like the cocoa borer disease that came and destroyed a lot of our cocoa trees, the coffee rust, the swine flu that comes and goes, affecting a lot of our pigs, and the bird flu. We can name a lot of them, but I haven't mentioned a few. I would like to speak on the importance of this biosecurity bill. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the protection of our economy is very, very important. You look at what's happened in Congo Basin, in the Africas. Time cocoa blow die. Almost the entire cocoa plantations in the Africas were destroyed by disease. And when it destroyed their cocoa, it also depleted their economy. I'm affecting economy blow. Also, this bill now that the minister you can come is very important for the security of this nation. It protects our economy. It makes certain that we have a buffer protecting our crops. We're not only talking about our crops, but we're talking about the animals in our country as well. We also, through this bill, we also protect our environment, Mr. Assistant Speaker. It assists us to protect our environment so that introduced diseases that come in can be stopped before they come into our environment. And that is very, very important. The negative impacts of these diseases, of pests that destroy crops, weeds that are introduced into our country, and other contaminants. And so I gave an example about the Republic of Congo. You just have to go through the website and have a look at it, and you'll be surprised at the millions that they've lost because of diseases. Mr. Speaker, through support, Mr. Minister, it is very, very important that the introduction of more biosecurity officers be introduced. And I'm talking about not only for Port Moresby, Lae, and the major centers, but also the other provinces, marine provinces, and through air transport also, that we must have more biosecurity officers stationed. And it gives you that opportunity now, Minister, and the Treasurer, and the Prime Minister, and the Cabinet, that funds are made available. We know it will cost you a lot of money to set up this office, but it gives you this opportunity now, Minister, through you, Assistant Speaker, that the government has to be serious about putting money where it matters most. And so, Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the Minister, and finally let me say this. Thank you. Finally, let me say this. Plenty bill is a come law this house. This is one that is well overdue. Now, all ministers should start law, all economic sectors, agriculture, forest, all NAPLA sectors. This country needs this type of bill so that you may strengthen economy blowing. You may strengthen country blowing. Plenty time, all man come overseas, all like looking rice farm blowing me. You may put him all tasso local, you may carry him go rice farm blowing me. You may carry him go cocoa farms blowing me. Coconut plantations. We take them to the coffee plantations. This bill now can give us the opportunity to check them before they get out there. Because some man come inside the country blame me. Some our friends blame me. Some friends blame me. Oh, come no pretend that's all. Oh, can see come inside the country. Lo bagarang country blame me. So you must look good. You mean scrutinizing this little kind man come inside, and we make certain that this kind bill time you come. You make certain that you give him enough support so that these bills are passed for the benefit of our nation. Minister, let me commend you and commend the government for such a bill that is presented today. Thank you.
Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker, to give me an opportunity to debate and support this bill. First of all, commendations to the Agriculture Minister on this very, very important piece of paper that's been tabled so that we can be able to amend the laws to suit an improvement in our agriculture space. Only thing is, it took 20 years to get here. So, Minister, big commendation to you and your predecessors from agriculture. So, after 20 years, we finally got it. So, let us work faster in this space, law, work him. And now you see now, you work him, let me mastro. Just few key things to point out here, Minister, in the Biosecurity Act. You quite rightfully pointed out they're outdated and not compliant with World Trade Organization requirements in relation to trade. Very important aspect there. The other thing it's why I wanted to point out is the appropriate international accepted safety and health standards to import and export goods, and further obligate countries to implement the internationally accepted standards by administrative and legislative means. Why I wanted to point that out was I had the good fortune to represent our country to attend APEC last year. And whilst attending APEC in Peru, I wanted to see how the agriculture was, what was the biggest commodities in Peru. And one of the biggest ones was the export of the agriculture produce, and it was quite fascinating. And I always used to wonder, why did other countries not get our imports, our exports from agriculture commodities, why did they always not have them in big numbers? So having a look at Peru on a site visit, I looked there and they pointed out, they had a small organization called SENASA. It was quite similar to what our NACIA is. And they said, Deputy PM, it was a very simple measure. We just focused on agriculture and we made something similar to your NACIA, improved and made it essential so that it met all the export obligations for our country. And Peru, which is about a population of about 34 million people with 1.2 million square meters of land, but most of it very rugged, not like our country, which has very arable, good agricultural soil. Peru in 2024 had exports of about 12.7 billion in agriculture, US dollars, 12.7 billion in agriculture exports in US dollars, and 6.5 billion of it was in just fruits and vegetables. And it was fixed by just one thing, the biosecurity laws, similar to what you are proposing now and what government we're putting towards on the table now. So it is one of the key infrastructures that we need to do, not just to support in policies, in support in everything else, but that is a key. That is a key for us to be able to meet those agricultural limitations, standards that we are supposed to export to other countries that require this. So if we can replicate that in a small way and have that very, very small thing done after waiting for 20 years, then that will be able for us to export our agriculture and also be able to replace our extractive industries when it comes to an end. It is a way forward. It is a way forward for us as a nation. In Papua New Guinea, we had about 1.2 billion in agricultural exports. This was, but mainly it was attributed to significant cocoa prices rise in the last couple of years. So this needs to be improved so that we not only have agricultural exports in cocoa, in coffee and other cash crops, but it should also be for fruits, for vegetables, Mr. Assistant Speaker, so that our people who are hardworking people who have the land available can be able to toil the land, and us as government needs to put the regulatory framework, the policies, and ensure that our people are able to export those to countries that will accept them, like China, as my good governor pointed out, and a few other countries that will be able to eat the produce that we send overseas. But it's not only policy. It is not only the regulatory framework that we put on now. It is one part of it. It also leads us back to the Connect PNG program that we put. It opens up a lot of our rural Papua New Guinea to enable these things to happen. Once we open up the rural Papua New Guinea, it will open up markets for us. It will be able to enhance our rural people to bring these into town, be able to market it. The biggest problems we have with this is limited infrastructure. So Connect PNG will also complement and open that up. Inadequate transportation, that will be able to open it up to storage facilities, which our government will try to ensure that we build and improve on that. Market access that we need to improve also. We also need to put in value-added processing plants and facilities so that we can be able to meet the standards of other countries that are able to be importing these. For us to meet those standards, it is our role as government to ensure these processes and these standards are done. The targeted investments in agriculture, training, marketing policy, and regulatory frameworks will enhance our exports, Mr. Assistant Speaker. That will greatly enhance our exports and will also make us move towards creating jobs for our people and be able to make more foreign exchange imports for our country. With that, Mr. Assistant Speaker, I'd like to again compliment the current Agricultural Minister and the former Agricultural Minister for this critical piece of bill that we can be able to do so that we can be able to meet the outstanding commitments to our people in creating jobs and helping exports for our country. Thank you very much.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, me like asking Parliament law give him full support law this law. Thank you law. Our leadership me sit down right through now. You me debating this plan. I read it law pass him. Great commendations to the minister. Thank you law. You take him France here along. Bring him law he passed and possibly your first ever law as minister to be passed and an important law for that matter. Border protection of our border is important. Biosecurity, this bill is also directly in the heart of it, is protecting our sovereignty from bio-insecurity. And I may clearly put him, you may long, was long all kaikai blimi, all plant blimi, all animals blimi. Mr. Assistant Speaker, our country is home to 6% of world's biodiversity. This 6% of world's biodiversity, a substantial element of it is uniquely endemic just to our country. Uniquely endemic to our country, and biodiversity, in my view and considered view, in the heart of it lies the economic security of our country. Our biodiversity is our wealth. It must be protected. This bill now makes redundant the old bill that was that carried our biosecurity protection and now uplifts it to a modernized level. It achieves two purposes. One plan, protecting infiltration along all sea coming inside long country limit through all animals and plant. You make clear country limit, you got land border, you got saltwater border, you got air border, now you got water border too. Fly River, over 30 kilometers of Fly River, and water border. So we need to be defensive against infiltration of disease and pests and pestilences into our ecosystem. That is why this bill is relevant, and I appreciate all of you sitting through to give support. But I want to put it from a context of economy. Protecting our country's marine and land or terrestrial biodiversity is very, very important from the context of economy. The world studies are now showing food and food insecurity will be a major global threat going forward into the future. And our country has great propensity to be a major food production basin or country, especially in the face of over 5 billion people that lives within us, 4 to 5 billion people within us in Asia proper, West Asia, Southeast Asia, and North Asia, not mentioning the American continents and afar off. So in that context, this bill is necessary, and as part of the cleaning up we are doing, this government is doing. Not too while ago, the Treasurer brought in the Income Tax Act amendment. We clearly made redundant the 1957 Act that carried us not just the last 49 years, but more, predates back to 1957. We cleaned it out and we put a modern, updated Income Tax Act. I want to give assurance to our country. We're not just here to collect DSIP and PSIP. You look at these members of Parliament sitting right through, sacrificing lunchtime, all in the business of engaging Parliament and sitting debating laws and passing good laws that should carry our country forward. This is one of such good laws. Mr. Assistant Speaker, I want to indicate, as complementary to this debate here, on April 20, 2024, I led a host of ministers, relevant ministers. Then Agriculture Minister was amongst. And we were in the Grand Hall of the People's Republic of China. And a bilateral meeting I had with President Xi Jinping, as well as the Premier. Key important milestones was reached. One of them, the biggest market, the biggest consumption market on earth, gave clearance, and we signed a phytosanitary agreement. Unfortunately, we need to step up that relationship with Australia, USA, and other economies that we trade with. But China, at our two governments' work, signed off on the phytosanitary requirements. And now Papua New Guineans can sell the agricultural products back to China, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Bianim talked about me blossom, ground money stuff. Go back work ground. Last week that's all, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Trade Commissioner Blow Sinai look at in Pacific, name blogger Mr. Moto. Come, spend him 2 weeks here and go back finish. Mr. Moto, Trade Commissioner Moto, go back lo sign and Salim on the text, come back long. Ambassador Blogan, Ambassador Salim text come lo me. And talk also. You read him this place. Lately me like kissing free lo government and like put him hand lo garden lo make him walk. And to hello Ambassador. We arrived back in Beijing safe and well after a busy 2 weeks in PNG. I want to acknowledge Minister Maru and his department for meeting him and the relevant departments, Agriculture Department, Coffee Ministry, etc. We arrived back in Beijing after 2 weeks in PNG. It was a successful mission, and our Chinese buyers are very thankful for the support. They have confirmed to buy PNG coffee and are looking to secure a long-term buying contract with coffee suppliers in PNG, and we are very excited at the successful outcome of our mission. Mr. Assistant Speaker, you mean all like him government will give him money, but you mean like make him work, lo contribute, lo government collect, and give him come back. We have now signed, and with China we've signed the best and biggest ever agreement for our cacao, for our coffee, for our oil palm, for our vanilla, for our livestock, world type, to go back. This bill now envelopes and protects our own borders and also make it compatible with China, with South Korea, with Japan, with Philippines, with Indonesia, and with Australia. Australia, we're in deep discussion as part of our relationship. We're not only about receiving aid and grant. In fact, the last 6 years, we've been focused more on trade and reducing our dependence on aid and grant. I want to thank all members for sitting in. This may seem small, but it's a monumental law we're passing. The backdrop trying to get our people who own land to go into shifting from subsistence agriculture to commercial agriculture. And I know the need for us to empower the ministers and ministries concerned in biosecurity, water defense, making sure security is okay, lab is stepped up, but all of this hinges on the laws that we pass. Passing law and follow suit. Government gives commitment to resource where it matters so we could make sure our products are safely exported to markets. This government has been working with, that's why we appointed Minister Maru and his team. He is now out there establishing market for us. These amendments complements this sort of drive, and for us to ramp up production to export, for us export within reach to the Asian marketplace, Southeast Asian marketplace. I want to commend the minister. Since he came on board, he was aggressive in this space. Now, when this parliament gives you the support, I want to commit this government to enveloping this organization with the necessary support, stand as the watchman in defending our 6% biodiversity and all the seed banks we have in our country in as far as our ecology is concerned. And as we make this defense, the call is on all of us out there, far and wide, provincial governors, districts, get engaged in transferring our people into commercial agriculture, productive agriculture. Market has been secured by government as we speak. The onus is on us to produce and to sell reliable supplies back to those contracts that we secure in as far as our government's intention to ramp up agricultural productivity is concerned. This bill is timely, complements our intention to step up agriculture, and I commend this parliament to give unreserved support to the minister.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those in against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read at that time. In accordance with the constitutional requirement, this bill must be passed by an absolute majority of 60 members. Clerk, please ring the bell. Attendants, please close the door. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Would those in favor please stand? Those against, please stand. All members, the result, ayes 83, noes 0. Clerk.
Third reading, a bill for an act to A, establish the Papua New Guinea Biosecurity Authority and its powers and functions, and B, to protect animal life, plant life, and associated environmental risks in Papua New Guinea through a sustainable biosecurity framework, and C, to prevent the introduction of plant pests and animal diseases into Papua New Guinea, and D, to control the spread of pests and animal diseases, and E, to irrigate the spread of plant pests and animal diseases, and F, to protect plant resources, animal resources, and the environment, including agricultural production from 1, plant pests, and 2, animal diseases, and G, to regulate the movement of and facilitate the trade of plants and animals and the products, and H, to provide a biosecurity enforcement framework, and I, to create a robust environment for trade, investment, and agricultural production activities, and J, to give effect to the international standards under the World Trade Organization sanitary and phytosanitary measures and World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement, and K, to repeal and replace the National Agriculture Quarantine and Inspection Authority Act 1997 and for related purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Notice number 148, Minister for Justice and Attorney General.
Minister.
Assistant Speaker, I present Y2K fairness in litigation repeal bill 2024.
Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to repeal the Y2K Fairness in Litigation Act 1999.
Minister.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I ask leave of the Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, and the members of this Honourable House, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Y2K Fairness in Litigation Repeal Bill 2024. This bill repeals the Y2K Fairness in Litigation Act 1999, which is the principal act. Mr. Assistant Speaker, in late 1999 and leading up to 2000, it was anticipated that all around the world that the change of date from 1999 to 2000 might cause technical problems for many infrastructures that relied on information and communication technologies. Computers back then were programmed to interpret the last 2 digits of the year when interpreting dates. This is due to limited storage capacity. As such, when the date changed to 2000, it was projected that the computers might interpret the date as 1900 and not 2000. This slight misinterpretation of dates by computers might cause chaos in the transportation systems, airports, finance and commerce, administration of governments, and any other systems that rely on computers. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the National Parliament observed that such technical problems may cause a significant increase in the volumes of litigation that could ultimately strain the judiciary in PNG. The National Parliament passed the Y2K Fairness in Litigation Act 1999 as a proactive measure to mitigate any potential increase in the number of cases at the national and the Supreme Courts. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the Principal Act sets out several special court procedures and certain litigations on damages accruing from the anticipated chaos. Mr. Assistant Speaker, despite the overwhelming fear and anxiety, there were minimal changes that occurred in Papua New Guinea and around the world. Consequently, Y2K Act was never implemented. Mr. Assistant Speaker, in its wisdom, the Parliament sets 1st January 2000 as the date that the Y2K Act become operational, and 31st December 2003 as the date the Y2K Act would become obsolete. However, no reforms were undertaken to repeal the Y2K Act. As such, and the Y2K Act has still been recognized as part of PNG's laws for the past 21 years. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the bill gives effect to Section 3 of the Y2K Act by repealing the Y2K Act in its entirety and ensuring that all laws are consistent with the Constitution and other existing laws. Mr. Assistant Speaker, with that, I now commend the Y2K Fairness in Litigation Repeal Bill 2024 to this Honourable House. Thank you.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those in against say no. Ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Second reading. I bid for an act to repeal the Y2K Fairness in Litigation Act 1999.
Minister for Justice and Attorney General.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. I ask leave of this Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Minister.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I moved that the bill now read the third time.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Third reading, a bill for an act to repeal the Y2K Fairness in Litigation Act 1999.
Clerk.
Notice number 149, Minister for Justice and Attorney General.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I present the Customs Recognition Repeal Bill 2024.
Clerk.
Yes, the customs finish. First reading, a bill for an act to repeal the Customs Recognition Act, Chapter 19.
Minister for Justice and Attorney General.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I ask leave of the Parliament to move the second reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Minister.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I moved the bill be now read the second time.
Make your speech.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker. The members of this Honourable House, it gives me great pleasure once again to introduce the Customs Recognition Repeal Bill 2024. The bill repeals the Customs Recognition Act 1963, which is the principal act. Mr. Assistant Speaker, National Constitution provides under Section 20, subsection 1, that an Act of Parliament will provide for the development of the underlying laws in Papua New Guinea. In the absence of an Act of Parliament, the Parliament is empowered under Section 20, subsection 2 of the Constitution to adopt certain laws in accordance with Schedule 2 of the Constitution as interim measures to regulate the development of the underlying laws. Mr. Assistant Speaker, consistent with Section 20, subsection 2 of the Constitution, the Parliament adopted the Customs Recognition Act 1963 prior to independence, only as an interim measure until an Act of Parliament is passed. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the underlying law is an important aspect of our legal system and is recognized as a source of law in Papua New Guinea, or PNG. The underlying law consists of customary practices in Papua New Guinea and the common law practices in
and practice immediately before independence. The underlying law is used by courts and excuse me, people pass on them. The lawyers, when there are no written laws on the subject matter before the court. As such, the development of the underlying law is important. Mr. Assistant Speaker, when Parliament passed the Underlying Law Act 2000, Parliament effectively complied with Section 20, subsection 1 of the Constitution as it is, and the Act of Parliament that will regulate the development of the underlying law in PNG. However, during the drafting of the Underlying Law Act 2000, the Customs Recognition Act 1963 was never expressly repealed. As such, both laws have coexisted and have been interchangeable, used in the past 24 years. Consequently, this has caused confusion among judges and lawyers at the courts. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the bill seeks to address this issue by repealing the Customs Recognition Act 1963. This will give prominence and recognition to the Underlying Law Act 2000 as the principal legislation to regulate the development of the underlying laws. Further, the bill gives effect to Section 20, subsection 1 and 2 of the Custom Constitution by ensuring that the laws of PNG are consistent with the Constitution and other existing laws. Mr. Assistant Speaker, with that, I now commend the Customs Recognition Repeal Bill 2024 to this Honourable House.
Governor Anchidisi.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, to give me a chance to talk. You know what plenty talk, Assistant Speaker. You may support him this repeal legislation. I think earlier on me raising some reservation because me found also there is existing law. Now Attorney General explaining now, Minister explaining also you make an Underlying Law Act 2000. So that caters for and provides for the requirement of the Constitution. So I just want to emphasize a bit of this law. Attorney General is aware, I've had this debate with him on one-on-one, the development of underlying law. It's very important that Mr. Assistant Speaker, members of Parliament, that we develop this underlying law, especially customary law. Constitution under Section 4, recognize him, Section 9, I'm recognizing the hierarchy of laws, that all the laws in PNG. Constitution it go pass, and then all the statutory laws passed by Parliament, and then underlying law, which includes customary law. Now, custom law, now, need law, you codify Maria.
Yeah.
So, me and Mas AG bring him this like come in, so his department can start working on codifying the customary law and start to standardize it. Because nowadays, plenty line, only established on some kind of relationship also, you mean no sabe? Only married long when I'm going custom. So, time married is good, I think you know got plenty dispute, Assistant Speaker. But time married them, we finish, and problem will come up. Problem will come up also, property by pass also. If they have agreement, then by behind him, there's agreement. But suppose not, you may go to law. And if they are not legally married or statutory married under the Marriage Act law PNG, and if custom to, very clear, also only married or this is custom or this is custom, then it may get problem. And this problem affect him, now, especially when one of the person dies, like in most cases, like the time man him die, then Mary now, Mama now, and by rights belonging by God's on him. Now you make a situation where all family, all come now, take over here. All take over house na, car na, store na, PMV na. Mama ya him look at the right belonging to come and, say this property belongs to me or belongs to the marriage or belongs to me and the husband. Papa died na, I should be entitled to some of this property. So this is a problem in PNG because now what line married kokam. All province tribe married ko kainkan tribe na, region ko kainkan region na, highlands ko Nambis na, Nambis ko islands na, Momase na, Swigi ko na, married ko Narblab na. So which custom they apply now? Attorney General needs to work on this seriously. Now, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, people are looking plenty line you go married like officially or not. All go working statutory married or all go married long some online only authorized long or celebrant, whether I'm pastor or some authorized person. Now I'm kind married to come up here, real married or gammon married or half-time married or whatever I'm open. It's a real problem with PNG. And the department they are all working plenty work. But only we focus on this area, so we good laws him. Attorney General and we come give him this law you mean now. So we can start to take this seriously. It also applies to land law too. On the time when I was practicing law, some line long. Me no call him up long, Mr. Speaker. I'm come asking me as a lawyer. I'm asking me also me adopted the Gamlo, it's a family now, Papa died now, all brother now, family all around me. Is that possible? Or one. Now, second also, what about my land rights, the property rights? Let me talk, you have to go and see your customary law. And to custom, only will interpret the ego sim. So me now, family will be got every year. I think this is a big problem too in our country that needs to be settled in law.
Yes.
Either you may come up with a proper underlying law that we codified all the custom law you mean, so we standardize it. Because Mr. Speaker, we believe also most of our practice, although might be a bit of variance or kind of tribes or province, but most of it is standard. You can find that there's commonality in most of our tribes. And if we do a serious exercise, then we can do this and submit it to Parliament. You may look now, you may agree long and then we pass that law. Otherwise, Mr. Assistant Speaker too, Parliament can authorize the provincial government. So we pass a law at the provincial level to regulate, land in terms of property rights, na married the brook, na by God's surname, na inheritance by God's surname. Although we want to encourage our people to, do proper legal agreement, whatever, time law, you may stop, I think, plenty law, you mean, what will do, yeah? You may think you mean Superman, but you may live forever, you mean write the will.
No custom.
No, the will to, when we pass, how do we administer our estate? By Golosat. By Golo Mama or Planti Mama or Igolo Pigninio, Hamas Pigninio. So Planti line, you mean walking wheel inside the Parliament, the outside too. Time die now. Custom come on or some line also now that's all man-made custom. Not the sort customers and convenience custom. Some line only strong line now all become now to me bike sim caro, me bike sim mouse, me bike sim this trade store, savings long papaya and brother me bike sim. This is a big problem, serious problem. So it's good that Attorney General come pass him this repeal act, so you may rouse him this all play act. Now we have to work on improving this underlying law act to codify it, or otherwise you may pass a vulnerable law that regulate all this so-called relationship. Marriage act is stop, but some people I think only like married through or like part-time married or whatever married. Is this going to be illegal or people have been living together, only accumulating property together, all got picking it too, so they have not formalized it, so embarrass on them now. So maybe you can make an amendment law marriage act so that we can say that suppose you formalize it, then your interest will be regulated this way if you know that will. Or in a situation like there's a dispute inside the family now, you block adopted line, now that's all you block up now. You block on now. Maybe come up, Papa died now, family now look at dispute now. How do we regulate that? So, and people have problem that is emerging, so I just want to take advantage of this opportunity. Minister AG come presenting this repeal act to highlight that. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
A second reading. A bill for an act to repeal the Customs Recognition Act, Chapter 19.
Minister for Justice.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I ask leave of the Parliament to move the third reading forthwith.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Minister for Justice.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I move that the bill be now read the third time.
The question is that the question be now put. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Third reading. A bill for an act to repeal the Customs Recognition Act, Chapter 19.
Thank you, Minister. Leader of the Government Business.
Deputy Acting Speaker, I ask Legal Parliament to move a motion without notice.
Is leave granted? Leave granted. Leader of the Government Business.
Deputy Speaker, Acting Speaker, I move that the leave of absence be granted to Messrs. Job Comac, Theo Pelgan, Maso Hewabi, and Ms. Francisca Semoso for the duration of this meeting due to ill health.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The Leader of the Government Business.
Deputy Acting Speaker, I move that Parliament do now adjourn until tomorrow, 10 o'clock a.m.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those are against say no. The ayes have it. Honourable members, I now adjourn the Parliament to tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m.